Welcome everyone to Our Town Podcast. Please take a moment to like and subscribe, share if you can, and review if available. We'd love to hear from you, so comment below and tell us how we're doing. Don't forget to visit ourtownpodcast.com for all the links and join the members only section of the website or sign up on Patreon. Now here are the boys of Our Town Podcast.
We're doing this. Let's do this.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to another exciting edition of Our Town Podcast.
Extraordinary.
Coming to you from the Cedar Stream Studios and the Jet City Live Space down here in historic and beautiful downtown Renton on a lovely wet spring day. It's the first day of spring, or was that yesterday?
Jason.
Was it? I think it was like first day of spring.
Already? Yeah, I think it might be.
Oh, I thought we were still.
I think that happens right after sundown or something.
And we got snow like 2 days ago.
Yeah, we got freezing rain, which was interesting. That's always cool. And it always just makes me very grateful to be under cover and dry.
Oh, yes.
So very grateful for such a thing.
Yep.
Well, if you're not under cover and dry, Mike, tonight's safe word is monkey do. Just scream out monkey do if you're not feeling safe, and we'll stop this here program and check on you. It's because everything we do is literally just advanced monkey business.
Nice.
Okay.
Everything humans do.
Geez, that's I like that term, advanced monkey business. That's I can get behind that as a whole psychological movement.
That'd be a nice business name, right?
Yeah.
Advanced
monkey business.
Well, I've seen monkeys and their business.
Oh, man.
Is it gorillas that have giant testicles, or is it the?
I don't know.
Or is it chimpanzees? I think chimpanzees have enormous balls.
Yeah.
So it depends on what kind of business we're talking
That
about.
could be, but but we have so much in common. Is that what you're saying?
I think so,
With thought patterns, etc. Yeah,
we're still a primate, right?
Oh, yeah. We have way more anxieties, though, so we got that going for us. But I don't know. I don't know, because it is ruled by. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know a whole lot about chimpanzee or other primate, social systems, but. We are complicated, right? I don't know, but I think those complications are still based upon those simple mechanisms, right? And then the utility, what do we make to get to those things, right?
I think we should go back to poop throwing.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
Like something.
Yeah, we go back to.
I know. Did it ever go away?
Some of us never left.
There's a video going around. It's like two gorillas, male gorilla and a female gorilla, and the male gorilla walks up to the female gorilla and kind of just flicks her boob like that.
Oh yeah.
And the caption is "How I let my wife know I'm in the mood."
Oh my god!
And she the female gorilla starts chasing it.
That's awesome.
I just thought I'd annoy you. Just thought I'd come by and annoy you for no good reason.
Oh my god! Well,
That's
speaking of annoyance, Mike,
yes.
You guys want to do some headlines?
Let's do some headlines.
Boys, there was a super giant deposit of gold ore that's been discovered in central China. It is estimated to hold 1,000 metric tons of high quality stuff, man. That they're estimating if it's that much gold, right now it's worth like $83 billion worth of gold.
Holy cow.
I guess there's 40 separate gold veins that each hold about 300 metric tons, and they're only about 1.2 kilometers from the surface. So in gold mining terms, that's really easy,
relatively accessible. Yeah, depending on other factors, I suppose. But gold cannot be formed on Earth under natural circumstances. It all had to come from a star. Yeah, it's bonkers. Yeah. So that's star guts.
Yeah,
and isn't there something that it's like most of the gold on Earth has already been, has already sort of been discovered and reused many, many times
That
over.
beats me.
Like old jewelry becomes new jewelry, becomes computer parts, becomes.
I wouldn't say most. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I bet most gold is probably sitting in bars.
Estimates suggest that there's like 205,000 metric tons that have been mined.
Oh, wow.
Oh, 205,000 metric tons, and there's another 1,000 metric tons coming out of China right now.
To start,
so that's like another third.
Remember, we're only what's the Earth's surface that's above water? It's 30%.
Oh.
30% that's above water?
Sure.
So there's got to be more gold under the ocean and in those places. So
you just got to get down where the megalodons are. And just bring Jason Statham.
Bring Statham for sure.
Right on.
Kick him in the nose. Boy.
Is he the new Chuck Norris?
Yeah, I think so.
I would think so. Yes, he's kind of a badass. He plays a good part.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. Is we should start doing the Jason Statham jokes, like the Norris jokes, the Chuck Norris.
Sure. Yeah.
Chuck Norris looking at a 11-year-old kid and says, when I was 11, I was already 12.
That stuff is priceless. Yeah. What a great place to be is if you're Chuck Norris.
Oh, yeah.
What a great
I
thing.
love it.
It's so great.
So awesome.
I love that guy.
Well, speaking of digging up old shit, back in 2022, a group of archaeologists discovered fossilized facial bones of an ancient human race that lived about 1.8 million years ago.
Jeez, that is a lot.
They nicknamed the dude Pink. I can't remember why.
That's because of the during the mummification or the fossilization process. The minerals that were present stained the face.
Stained pink. Okay.
They stained not the face, but the bones.
And it wasn't a lot of bone. I mean, it was like a few fragments and then one mandible or whatever.
But enough to show that it was a unique makeup.
Right. And from what did you say? How many millions of years ago?
1.8 is way the fuck back.
That's way the fuck back.
For us, that's way back.
But they're sort of now believing that pink wasn't part of Homo erectus, which was one of the was like the first Homo species that stood upright,
that was able to get an erection.
That was actually a little bit older without Viagra. Was actually a little bit older because it's closer to it's closer to Homo erectus than it is to
what's it called?
I don't know. So they had to create
like a hominin, like a hominin.
Yeah, so it places this species as an older hominin in Europe than previously thought.
Right.
So they had thought that like Homo erectus was like the first, because they would have come up from Africa.
That's all we had found, right?
That's all we had found. So they're calling this dude Homo affinis erectus because they want to put a little
Affinis
point.
means closer to home or something? Is that what that means?
I think so.
Well, it just kind of states that there was more than one, possible through the morphogenics or whatever. They're going to test the facial structure and look at the distances between
It's
the
like
cheekbones.
Willie Nelson's cousin or some shit. 1.8 million. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Keith Richards.
Those guys. Direct relatives. One generation away.
One generation away. Well, speaking of the birthplace of civilization in Iran.
That's it. Just the idea that we can date shit pretty fucking accurately, right? It's not.
Nice.
It's not perfect, but it's pretty impressive.
It's very cool, yeah. And that's not even carbon dating. Is it a carbon dating?
I don't know what they did in this case. I don't.
I'm not sure if they use carbon dating for just like rocks and.
I think for organics, if they do a weird mitochondrial DNA thing. And,
I think what they do is they test the rocks and stuff that are around the bone at the same layer.
Okay.
So they can determine what it is. So,
time scale.
That's neat.
Well, 1.8 million years ago is a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
There's a lot of episodes of human experience and exploration that have gone
because the ending of the Ice Age was not that long ago, right?
When
in some
was
place
that?
Between 10 and 15, where we live, it was like 15,000 years ago.
Oh,
so
that's
all
it?
the forests we've ever seen are way younger than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was scoured, bro. Anywhere we're at, like closer to the equator, people, have lived there also. But,
right. Because it was sunny and warm and wonderful.
Yeah, it was just Squished.
Magical.
Yeah, Space Ghost. Yeah, 1.8's way back. That's way back in the
long time ago.
Yeah, jeez.
Well, boys, in Iran, I didn't even think about this, but there are 26 Picasso paintings that are owned by the Iranian government that are unveiled to the public for the first time in 3 decades.
That blows my mind they're doing it.
That they're doing it.
That blows my mind. I would not have seen that coming at all.
So, of course, the museum owned a bunch of pieces by Europeans and American artists. I think they have a Jackson Pollock. They've got a bunch of other stuff. But they've since the revolution, they sort of stuck it in a vault.
Yes.
Right?
I'm really shocked they didn't just burn it.
Well,
it's an important part of their culture, though, as far as having, whether it's appropriated or not, the
Taliban would have. Taliban would have burned it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're blowing up 5,000-year-old statues of the Buddha.
Yeah.
There's no way they're going to keep a Jackson Pollock.
Oh, man, so dicky.
Picasso.
Yeah. There must be some serious reasons why people destroy those kinds of artworks.
Tiny pee-pee.
Yeah.
Same with the American Taliban, same with fucking Nazis, all that shit. Like the same way now, the Nazis, hate to segue, the Nazis that are in power right now in the United States, erase like Ira Hayes record and all these kinds of things. It's like, if you're so superior, why do you have to erase these other things?
Right.
Why wouldn't you just achieve further? So it would be obvious your superiority.
Right.
Why would you have to diminish someone else? Your superiority should shine through, shouldn't it? You know what I mean?
So,
but anyway,
that seems logical.
Yes,
logical.
But also this particular headline of there's $4 billion worth of stuff, right?
Yeah,
which is the first Our Town podcast extraordinaire heist.
Right.
We're going to do like an Ocean's 13 thing
you
here.
got to go to Tehran.
Oh yeah, we'll pull it off, no problem. Well, a bunch of costume changes will look glamorous but dangerous.
Yeah.
It'll be great. We'll have
We're
a great
just here
time.
to gamble.
Yeah.
High stakes poker.
Yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be like Fast and Furious, but with a Renton kind of feel to it. You know?
So it'll be
The Renton caper.
low
Yeah.
and menacing. I don't know, slow and.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, Tehran's in Iran, right? That's the capital of Iran. And
big old city.
it is a big old city. But they've got a lot of art there, not just in that museum, but it's a very culturally.
It's what's left of the Persian Empire, right? They go way back.
And it was a very cosmopolitan city before. And I'm not by
1979.
Before
by
burqas.
any means saying that the Shah was a good dude at all.
No.
But
all of them got set up with false boundaries after the world wars, right? Especially after the second, but certainly after the first, right? So then all these different, peoples who had never lived together or had a unifying force now had one in this terrible person, right?
Right.
Oh man.
Jeez. So if you are interested, the State Department doesn't recommend you travel to go see him, but Picasso's Portrait of Man, Cry of War, and Echo of Sorrow are part of the remarkable collection.
That's neat.
Just stuff that has not been seen by very many human eyes in 30 years.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
that's
is crazy.
pretty neat.
So,
Yeah, geez, you ever seen a Picasso?
not in real.
Yeah.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah, it's pretty weird to see a Picasso when you're, or any of that art. Like in Europe.
I've seen a Van Gogh in Europe.
Yeah,
And,
which is wild.
Oh yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a picture next to one of his self-portraits, and I'm like, it's this guy, right? This is Van Gogh? This is him? Yeah.
And then we went to go see the Monet. Or no, yes, at Sam, probably 10, 12 years ago, something.
Was it a collection of Monets or was
Yeah, it was a circulating show. It was really neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mike's getting up really close? I don't get it.
I don't get it, man.
Well, I think you can go to the
It's
Seattle
way
Art
too
Museum.
realistic.
I think at the Seattle Art Museum they have a Picasso at Seattle Art Museum.
All right.
Yeah, they've got, I think, and they've had shows there. I think that's where I ended up seeing the Picasso was his blue period. I think all artists went through kind of a blue period. And he had his a variety of different paintings there, but I think I saw it at the Seattle Art Museum, which I highly recommend going to. I haven't been there in a lot of years.
You guys have been talking a lot about that last couple of weeks. I'm going to have to go because it's been years since I've been.
Nice. I have no idea what's going on right now.
I think the guy that
it's a great
invented the mobile is kind of the prime guy. There's a bunch of just regular exhibits that are there all the time, but they've got a guy there. I can't remember his name, but my friend John actually got inspired before Christmas to go and make them. He was just there hanging out. He likes to go and hang out. He's got a season pass. And you can go right up to these things. These things are huge, and it's all this balanced metal and shapes and everything, and it's really quite something. It's beautiful. And the rest of the exhibits are worthwhile. It's a cool place.
Okay.
Even though they don't pay their people, I guess, enough money. Supposedly, there's people outside rioting, not rioting, picketing. Those are two different things, aren't they? Yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, speaking of world cities, I think it's Time Out, which was a magazine. Now it's a publishing empire. Came out with the world's best cities for food. Sadly, Renton wasn't on there, but could be.
Renton's really good for food.
It is.
Yeah.
New Orleans got number 1.
Jeez. It's like in the whole world?
In the whole world.
Wow.
According to Time Out. But they spot the influence of Vietnamese, French, Italian, just all the flavors.
Creole.
And I'll have to say, man, it is one of my favorite cities.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. Do you have a favorite meal coming out of the Big Anno?
Just gumbo in
Oh,
general.
all right.
Just a really good gumbo.
All right.
Done right, it's terrific. But, I mean, you just walk down the street. Jambalaya is great.
Nice.
I don't do much of the seafood stuff, so I'm not doing like oysters and some of the lobster bisques and stuff. But I have.
What's in your gumbo then? What are they?
Depends. Sometimes I'd like just an andouille sausage, but sometimes a nice chicken if it's done right.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Yeah. Rounding out the top 10, though, boys, Bangkok was number 2.
Jeez.
I've never been to Bangkok.
I have.
Street food, I think, is their big deal.
Is that the big thing there?
The kind of a Thai cuisine, obviously. Bangkok.
Yeah. Medellin, which I would not have guessed, but I guess is becoming
South America.
More of a touristy type place. Because that's like Pablo Escobar, right?
Well, sure.
Colombia. I mean, that's what was known.
That was one of his territories.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure there's still some gangsters.
Yeah.
But gangsters got to eat.
Gangsters got to eat.
What kind of cuisine do they have there? Is it
I would think South American and
Andes or the Andes Mountains?
Yeah, they're not to the Andes.
No?
No, I don't think Colombia's in the mountains.
No. Well, but I mean, as far as their influences are concerned,
I
think
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, like Venezuelan is very like empanadas and stews and
hearty stews.
hearty stuff.
I don't know. We should go to get some Colombian food, though. That's a great idea.
Actually, right up where Hooters is a new Venezuelan restaurant that's going.
Yeah.
Right
I
there,
love that's our reference to
Yeah. You know, Hooters.
in the Cascade neighborhood.
Yeah, it's Cascade.
Hooters.
Yeah, it was Johnny's for a long time.
Yeah.
How does the Hooters go out of business?
I don't know.
How did that happen?
With a bowling alley.
I know.
Hooters with a bowling alley. What are you doing wrong?
I don't know.
You know how they have there's like 50 good-looking ones and one ugly one? It was the opposite. They hired the wrong way.
Number 4 was Cape Town. 5 was Madrid, which I do want to get to soon. Kyle and Amelia. Amelia just bought a house in Spain. So they're like, yeah, you got to go. I'm like, yeah, anytime, dude. Mexico City, which I would have guessed would be in the top 10, is number 6. Lagos, Nigeria, is actually number 7, which wouldn't have been like
on your radar.
On my radar. Shanghai, number 8. Number 9, Paris, which I would have always thought higher.
Well, 9's not terrible.
9's not terrible. And then number 10, our Jakarta 12, coming in number 10.
Javanese food,
which I don't know that I've had specific Javanese food.
I don't believe I have either.
Maybe in a previous life.
Yeah, I'd be curious on
That's great, though.
What it is. I did take an anthropology class that was anthropology of Indonesia, and it was a fascinating class because the professor that taught it had spent years and years back and forth in all over Indonesia, which is like 10,000 islands or some crazy thing. But it was a great course. But
nice.
food.
Yeah, let's go eat.
We were talking about this a little bit pre-show, Mike. A couple of astronauts that were stuck up in space have just returned to Earth this past Tuesday, right? They went up in a Boeing, what was it? Boeing Starliner.
Yeah.
And there was something wrong with the Boeing Starliner.
The door fell off.
Well, they didn't trust the thrusters, right?
Is that what it was?
Yeah. And come on.
Did it return
That's how you
safely,
steer.
though?
I believe it did,
It
yeah.
by itself,
But it was a
But they
chance they
couldn't
didn't want
risk
to
it.
take,
Yeah.
right? So I'm cool with that, yeah.
Yeah. So those two astronauts actually had to stay on the space station for 9 months, which they were just supposed to drop in.
There is an emergency.
They were only supposed to be there for like a week.
Yeah, cup of coffee.
Because it was to test the craft.
Is that
Was
what it was?
their purpose. I'm sure they're always bringing and taking stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I think that purpose was specifically to test that craft.
Yeah.
The astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams.
Yeah, that's great.
God bless them. They were up there for 9
tremendous,
months.
man.
What were you asking earlier, Mike? Is did they get?
Well, with the national minimum wage being $7.25 an hour. After their 40-hour work week,
At least
they get
time and a
overtime, time and a half or something? Like 9 months of time and a half.
Some hazard pay at least.
Oh, my
or
God.
Man. I don't know.
Because, I have no idea what they get paid. But I imagine it's a salaried position is where I'm going with this.
They don't get paid at all. It's all volunteer.
Yes,
Yeah,
volunteer.
probably.
I do it in a heartbeat. But they just don't want me because I have no skills. That's the thing.
You could play music up there.
That would be great. They're like,
Space
send
needs
this guy.
music.
Yeah,
He's like,
Yeah.
he's like,
With his guitar. The guitar played too.
yeah, you're right. I'm okay.
They became kind of a political potato too for hot potato for a minute.
because Americans are just going for shiny, stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's like, let the nerds just do what they do best, man. Right? Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why a Russian came down with them. Right?
that's
Because
right,
there's
yeah.
no politics for that.
Right.
That's bigger. They're looking down. There's no borders. There's no ruler with a big, you know what I mean? None of it.
dotted
It's like
line.
we're on a tiny rock, people.
Pale blue
You know,
dot.
yes. So
Carl
leave the
Sagan.
astronauts out of it. Leave them out of it.
Yep. Yeah, because the
Jesus.
advancement of that is way more important than any sort of political strife or
any
differences.
doohickey they're doing up there is well worth it.
It's
and
better
I get
than
it.
the
It's-
international
If
waters.
we can spend money on that, how come we're not using that money? Otherwise, blah, 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 blah. We can do both. We're choosing not to do both, right? But humans need something to strive for. We do. It's good for us
It is.
as a species, right? And space is kind of the final frontier because going deep in the ocean's terrifying.
Megalodon.
I'm telling you, without Jason Statham, there's only one Jason Statham to go around.
Without Jason
It's like, yeah,
I love it.
Jeez. Mike, you said they went up because they were testing the Starline or something?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
This was the first.
That was the part
I
of
thought
the
it was the first manned use of the
Okay.
Starliner capsule.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That was the whole
Oh, yeah,
and delivering
yes.
supplies, I would guess, right?
I don't know. Well, because it was a test. I find it really hard to believe they weren't carrying something.
Yeah.
Right, but there's also work for them to do. It's not like they just sat around playing Game
Here's your
Boy the whole
popcorn.
time.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they had work,
Yeah.
and they could have. If there was an emergency, everybody could have got home, or taken the chance to get home on a Dragon anywhere. There's a Dragon Park there, right? So, which is the
that's the emergency vehicle?
yeah, it happens to be a Dragon capsule they can all stuff into if they need to.
Oh.
It's like so they weren't trapped up there at any time.
No.
Okay.
Right? It's like, but they had shit going on.
Got
you
it.
can't just worry about it. You just got to do your thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's make mankind great again.
All right. Yes, please.
Because that's what we're talking about tonight, folks, is greatness, right?
Great topic.
Didn't have a lot of time to work on this. I kind of wanted to do more, but kind of ran out of time. So I'm going to count on you guys to kind of fill in whatever gaps we might get.
I did a little investigation in
Nice.
the whole thing.
So the dictionary, depending on which one you read, defines greatness as the quality or state of being great, as in size, skill, achievement, or power. And somebody that is great is someone who is distinguished or eminent, and it's usually associated with the importance and fame, power, or success.
There you go.
All right.
And that's Mike's cat. So we're done.
Well, yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, well, greatness actually is something that comes from man. I think that it's just we're competitive as a species.
But can we only be great as compared to something else? Oh, you know what I mean? It's like if I'm just in the zone
Yep.
by myself in space.
That's greatness.
Is that still greatness unless it can be compared to some other human? Like somebody else has also, you know what I mean?
Well,
Is there greatness in solitude? Can there be greatness in solitude?
Why not?
I don't know.
Oh, I think just greatness in of yourself. If you are by yourself on a desert island and you're not compared to anybody else,
It's not a comparative quality.
Not a comparative quality.
Okay.
So the greatness of that person, like Tom Hanks on Wilson, right? And so he did all the things he needed to do. He had to knock his own tooth out. He had to do all that.
So good.
Is that greatness?
That's hardcore.
Or is that just instinct? Because instinct comes, if you talk about like great fighters, great runners, great athletes, great politicians, they're not sitting there thinking about what their craft is. They're just doing, right? And
or I don't know.
Surviving
Where's the competition part of it come in too?
Well, and it's all subjective too, right? So
Ego.
it's kind of like beauty in the eye of the beholder, artwork, right? Greatness can be subjective. So my greatest athlete might be different than yours for different reasons, kind of a thing. So,
well, the idea that transcending one's environment is kind of what's going on. So if you take anything that if we put greatness as a list of human beings that did great things that we all agree on, they're all transcending their environment and, doing the best that they can do. And they're the cream of the crop.
Yeah,
they're the
there
top
was
of the thing.
I think he's an author. Tully C. Knowles wrote, "The greatest thing about a man is his ability to transcend himself, his environment, and to be what he dreams of being."
Yep.
So that's kind of the attitude going into achieving greatness. But once you sort of achieve it, again, it's sort of like you were saying, what do you have it to compare to? Right? Am I surpassing somebody else's greatness, or am I doing something that nobody has ever done before?
Yeah. Or am I just so true to my being that I've achieved something, right? That's in line with my knack or my skill or whatever I was put here to do, right?
But your ability to play guitar or pour a cup of coffee or have a political viewpoint or fight for good and the goodness of the world in comparison to Jesse Owens running the, 4-minute mile or was it he the 4-minute mile? No, but anybody that's done absolutely amazing things, we find those people and then we exploit them for money. And we put them as icons. And those icons aren't healthy for us. Putting people at the top of something, because each one of us is an individual. We're personally capable of doing what we're capable of doing. So to compare ourselves to one may limit our ability to continue to go on because we can do the comparison thing. I don't think we should do that. I think that
there's got to be a balance because deification is obviously unhealthy.
Very much so.
But striving towards an inspiration, I don't find that to be inherently bad, right?
No. No, but I mean,
we can be inspired by somebody's deeds as well. But But so the greatness that we're talking about is in the deeds, right?
In the doing.
In the doing, right?
It's always in the doing.
I would say that Stephen Hawking, right, for example, he's not a great physical specimen, but he's a great mind in that respect, right? Yeah. So it's like,
which person would you want on your team if you had to get off of a desert island? I'd want both. I mean, it's really kind of a
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. Okay. Or Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking might come up with an easier way if you just let him think about it.
How about both of us master blasting? That's my master blaster.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my God!
Okay.
Well, when scientists first started looking into what it means to be great, like philosophers and psychologists and stuff, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, all the research was always focused on, not always, but mostly focused on genetics and
Even before
measurables like intelligence and IQ.
No, they would put like calipers on your head and shit, or his eyes. It's like, well, I have trillions of cells in my body. It's like if my eyes are beady or not, bro. So dumb. Eugenics and weird shit.
Yes, but by the 1970s,
I guess that's a perversion.
The studies involve more understanding of environment and how the environment sort of pushes people to greatness, right?
Sure.
Because you can't sometimes have that breakout moment without something in the environment pushing you.
It's the hero's tale, right? Isn't that the hero's journey and such?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So more recently, the role of chance over the course of development and the importance of the development of unique personal characteristics leading to that achievement of greatness has been the focus of studies. So, so just kind of some thought process as humans sort of look at
some parameters and some benchmarks for what that is.
And that just is the deeper philosophy of causality and shit as well, right? Because it's like,
I would think so, yeah.
Because if you're not in the circumstances you're in, then you wouldn't need to be doing the things you're doing. Right?
Yeah, it wouldn't even dawn on you.
It wouldn't even.
It wouldn't apply.
No.
Yeah, because if you're just out hunting, gathering, and not needing to do too much. The ancient Greeks had a couple of concepts.
Yes.
I think we talked a tiny bit about this last week in relation to greatness. They had the concept of arete, which is the notion of excellence or greatness being bound up in the notion of fulfilling one's purpose, right? So living up to one's potential. Yeah. So a person of arete is one of the highest effectiveness. So if you use all your faculties, strength and bravery, wit, intelligence, to achieve real test results, that's where you get to be that excellent or that great person, right? Of any kind. So, even if you're a plumber, right? Or a potter or something.
Yeah, just do the very best.
Just do the very best you can do, and that's achieving greatness, right?
Sure.
And that's also, Krishna recommends to just do the act, because you can't be responsible for anything except your action.
That's right.
It's a right action, and the Taoists say the same kind of thing, right? It's like, but I guess with the Taoists, you're not forging your future. You're within your time doing what is appropriate, right? So they're not necessarily the same concepts, but similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you have greatness on other sides of the planet, right? Like, because we have such a connected world, you have great sculptors from Greece, and then you had maybe sculptors from Spain or China or wherever, right? So all of those, once we're able to compile all of them in one place and go, well, this is good for this reason, this is good for that reason. Look at the amazing symmetry of this, Michelangelo's David, for example. That's amazing. He was great for a lot of reasons, but there were also other great people, but just had different versions of greatness within that same structure.
Didn't have the same publishers, right?
Right.
Publicists.
Yeah.
But again, that kind of falls into, because art is subjective, right? So totally. I could think that statue of David, his balls are too small, so I'm not a fan.
I've always thought that.
But some sculptor in China, I look at his work and I'm like, holy crap.
Those are some good sized balls. Those are great balls.
Yeah.
Those are grapefruits.
Yeah.
The unit itself isn't great, but the balls.
The balls are spot on.
I mean, that's how you sculpt it.
There's another Greek concept, and this is all kind of coming from Arian, who was a Roman philosopher and historian, did a lot of writings on, most famously for Alexander the Great, who has great in his name, right?
Lucky.
Did he before he got a publicist?
No, yeah, that's totally
but that concept is pothos. which is that mankind that has a yearning or a longing for finding out, like putting yourself out there,
right?
Boldly going where no one has gone before.
Finding your limitations.
Not even finding, just continuing on this process of discovery. Just going for it.
Okay.
Right? And that's greatness.
Got it.
That's the pothos greatness, as opposed to the arete greatness, which is just being the best with what you got. This greatness puts you out. It's like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to conquer. And that's kind of where Alexander the Great fits, I think, more so than the arete, which I think you could say Alexander the Great sort of fell into the arete too, because he was just being the best king and conqueror that he could be.
Sure. It's a good gig when he can get it.
It's a good gig when
They kept getting him laid or something, right?
Oh, man.
Pothos in Greek mythology was the winged god of sexual desire and just desire in general. But something, that yearning to experience something new, discovery is a way to become great. So, I don't know.
The overall, I've received this little information about this guy. What is his name? Tully Knowles.
Oh,
and the overall impact of his statement says that, in essence, Knowles' words remind us that the true measure of a person is not fixed. It lies in the relentless pursuit of bettering oneself and rendering or redefining one's limits. This process of consistent self-transcendence is what fuels progress, innovation, and personal fulfillment. Yeah.
all right.
I think
That's kind of following the pothos.
Yeah, that's on that same idea.
Yeah. Huh. Does it say what Knowles was? Is he a writer, just a writer, or philosopher?
Plagiarizer of Greek works.
I did not look up who he was, but
I came up with the pothos.
it does not say right here,
Okay,
but I
no
can look it up.
worries.
But
No worries,
I'm not
yeah.
going to look that up right now.
So we sort of know greatness when we see it, when we think it's greatness, right? Sort of that eye of
Because that is a
kind of thing.
Shock and
variable value systems, right?
There was an interview that I found online with a gal named Rachel Rogers. She's a associate psych professor at Northwestern University, and she was asked some questions about greatness, right, and what it means. And she said, Western individualist cultures place value on tin can mufflers.
Yes, we do.
Western individualist cultures place value on individual greatness, but other cultures, particularly collectivist ones, maybe more Eastern, I guess, or I don't know, like Cuba, China, places that are sort of collectivist societies.
Well, they are now, but what allows those to set in? Those collectivist political systems come after that social construct, right?
Yeah, for sure. But they place little value or even shy away from the idea of individual's own greatness, one's own greatness.
Yeah.
Well, it's a society.
The amassing of wealth or something, although they did have a emperor for a long time.
Yes, they did.
China in particular.
Whereas Western cultures place value on productions, in quotes, as a source of greatness, Eastern cultures sometimes place more emphasis on relational aspects, such as being authentic and genuine and capable of inspiring others. So other than, personal achievements, getting those little placards that you can put up on your wall and stuff like that. It's how did you benefit the greater good?
It was a magnificent Mustang. And
that's what it was.
It's a little starp.
So she's suggesting that greatness is very much a cultural construct, somewhat like standards of beauty and attractiveness, like we talked about. Yeah. So definition.
Unless you define it erratic, right? Then it's not. Right. You could be alone in space, and still achieve that state.
Yeah, because you're the best. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and it's a personal. It's a personal struggle, right?
Does that come from if there was no one there to hear the tree fall, did it really make a sound? Kind of an idea. Like if you're in
Possibly.
space, like Mike said, if you're in space and you're trying to achieve greatness, is there a comparison to by which you get to?
The tree falling in the woods is more about sound waves, right? Because there's nothing to pick up the
Well,
sound waves,
without the perceiver, there's nothing to perceive.
Right. And with only one perceiver, is it the ego that says, "Oh, I'm great. Look at how great I am compared to that."
Well, you just know it when you're in the
that's the
zone,
audience,
bro.
right?
Yeah.
But if you didn't know it existed to begin with, if greatness wasn't even, that's not defined when you're a solo person.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm just exploring the possibilities of what is.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
ego gets in the way of a lot of things.
It does.
So, I don't know.
Fucking ego.
Sorry to interrupt.
No interruptions in this house. So again, definition of greatness varies across time periods and cultures, right?
Definitely.
Sort of back to Alexander the Great. Yes, he achieved massive things, but you also have to remember, and I don't know if you guys have studied, I'm not an Alexander expert, but I've done a lot of reading about him and podcast listening and stuff like that. But his dad was sort of a badass himself, right? And sort of handed him this kingdom in a bloody way, but handed him this kingdom, right? In this fantastic Macedonian army, right?
Sure.
And said, here. He's the ruler now. So he's got this already built badass army.
And a system that believes that he deserves it.
Yes.
Right? And so that he can, call up, tax people, spend that on dudes to chop other people up.
Yeah. So kind of one of these guys that was either born on second base or third base and got the home run.
I think he was born on home plate.
Maybe so. But not to diminish his achievements, because he went farther than even his dad did.
Right. He could have destroyed all of that and it could have crumbled. And they could.
He's still probably a brilliant general or got really, really lucky.
That's a lot of luck, though.
That is a lot of luck. I think he probably was, or surrounded himself with really good.
But because he was born on that third base or whatever, he had the best education, the best historians telling him, military historians, etc.
Yes.
So it's like he didn't just go, what we might need to do.
Tutors
and if his dad was,
including Plato, right?
Yeah. Was it Plato or was it
Aristotle?
It was one of them.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up.
Maybe Aristotle.
Yeah,
I think
that was born on third base.
No, that was his private tutor.
Oh, his private.
And not tutor, like Michael Caine.
Well, I imagine his dad. He was probably just running around and following his dad everywhere, and he was just learning from greatness.
He and his dad sort of had a contentious relationship.
Oh, okay.
Dad had several wives, and he was really the legitimate heir, but nobody liked his wife, who has a great backstory herself. But he was the legitimate heir to the throne, although there's probably some uncles, other
who would poison him in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, get him out of there.
He probably killed him right away, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Off with his head.
But I mean, Philip did great things too, and he's not known as the great. I kind of see where history would, and history's sort of written by the victor kind of a thing, right? So
and legend, etc. But he was young when he died, though, right?
Like 33 years.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty young. Though.
That's young, yeah.
Human infection, if I'm
Is that happening right now with like the Elon Musks and all of the tech giants right now? Are they
same kind of thing?
They're going to be able to rewrite history. If we don't protect,
they're doing it right. No, we're watching them.
We're watching it happen.
No, we're watching them rewrite history. Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. But where did his hungers stop?
Yes,
right. Because he's already said shit like the parasite. He's said out of his mouth describing fellow American citizens as parasite class.
What?
With that kind of demonizing and diminishment, man, that doesn't bode well to me. Those are dangerous, dangerous
He's
words.
getting us to Mars, and he's got those
who's
great cars.
You think the common person is going to go to...
And the chip.
Yeah. Man, I remember, I'm so old. I was around before the UPC symbol. So way before barcodes, I guess. But I also remember American Christians being so on the watch for the devil that the UPC symbol was the mark of the beast.
It probably was.
Maybe.
It was the beginning of it.
But it also shows to where, just like the Second Amendment fellas, of which I kind of am, right, have always been on the watch for tyrannical governments. Really quiet now, bro.
Oh, I know. Why is that?
This is the tyranny that we were worried about.
Right in front of us.
It's happening right now. And just because these people, we're peasants to them. They have said so out loud.
We're cattle.
The peasants do not come up. When this all happens, we're not coming up. They're not taking you with them.
No,
they're not. Stop that. Get that out of your head, everybody. You're not moving up with the billionaires. You're a parasite to them.
You're not a part of the big club.
No. So get that out of your heads.
Yes.
Get that out of your heads.
Yeah.
Anyway. Thanks.
Sheep are sheep, though.
But so at what point is Elon Musk at all, right? You could probably throw the ancient Rockefellers in there, or Pharaoh, or whatever, that huge, powerful person that we see the pyramids. We remember King Tutankhamun. Are those great people because we remember them and they're part of our common shared history? Is that a greatness that I don't really want to recognize? Because I want to be class warrior?
Well, we kind of talked about this pre-show when we were talking about our top 5, which is in the bonus round, everybody, which you should go be a member of, either on Patreon or the website. Go check it out right now.
Yeah, go do that now.
When we're compiling our list of great Americans, and tonight is top 5 greatest Americans in our opinions, we talked about having to take a second look at some of these people that we would generally just like, if you just knew like the quick textbook paragraph, here's their life, you'd be like, oh, that sounds like a great American, right? Yeah. But if you dive deep and know some stuff about them, then it's like, God, I gotta weigh that.
And I think that because we're talking about a great American, not the greatest works that happened in America, right? It's like, because I think I'm going to have to separate in some of those cases. Thomas Jefferson, for me, did some of the greatest works that humans have ever seen. Transcended our state or our consciousness that we could be born equal.
Yes.
That had to be talked back into us.
Right.
Because it had been talked out of us for so long.
That's a really good point.
But also, as a person, it's too much.
And
it's too much. I can't do it.
That's what we talked about. He could be in my top 10 presidents of all time, but maybe not top 10
because that's the work.
Time. Yes.
Doing the work. But for tonight's top 5 in particular, I'm not divorcing the two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you brought up Michael Jackson, Jeff, because brilliant entertainer. I don't know that he wrote all of his own songs and stuff.
No, great entertainer.
Just a great, could do the moves, had the whole package, right?
Yep.
But was he not? I mean, a lot of evidence says that he was a pedophile, right? Or had,
right. So take those two things and you put them together and go, I'm just going to not listen to Michael Jackson's music or give it any validity because he raped a baby. Okay, that's your prerogative.
Right.
Not you, but I mean, just in general, the theory of this idea. The works are still the works.
Roman Polanski. I won't watch it. Fuck Polanski. Because if I ever see him on the street, I'm beating his ass. Oh, we know he did that.
Yes.
I guess with Michael Jackson, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I know.
But we know Polanski did it.
Yeah.
We know he did.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, that kind of thing where I'm like, well.
Michael Jackson, I could talk myself into he did it, or I could talk myself out of it.
I can too.
Right?
I can. But because I don't know.
But Polanski, we know he did that shit.
Yeah. I mean.
And Jefferson, we wouldn't have what we have right now without him.
No.
I know.
Right?
I know.
We wouldn't be
Which
sitting
means
in
we
this...
might not have had the DNA, because without human progression, without democracy, we did not have the human progression. Right? It was the Middle Ages for a long fucking time, and it was the Dark Ages for way longer.
Way longer.
Right? That was our default setting under feudalism, people, and will be again. Right? The progress, the last couple of 100 years of progress was brought to you by democracy, not in spite thereof. right? So would we have had the technology to do the 23andMe to find his DNA in all these kids? Without the democracy that he started.
I love it.
It's like, that's some Perry Mason shit, bro. Oh, man.
Well, just like history is written by the victor, right? So is greatness can be almost considered a popularity contest too, right? Because you're not going to hear about certain people without the publicist, right? So is the individual that doesn't get the limelight. So you got like a single mom that's holding it down with her 4 kids or 5 kids, right? We had Kate.
Or just one shitty one.
We had Kate Carlson on a few episodes ago.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like a foster mom, adoptive mom of like 4 kids.
Yeah, she's the real deal.
Holding it down.
Yeah.
There's true greatness in what she's doing.
I agree. But that's not and so on my top 5, yes. But that wasn't the dictionary definition. Right? Being a solid, and I'll talk about that later because that is on my top 5. But
what's the dictionary definition?
That it was strength.
It was. It was usually associated with importance and fame, power or success. Someone who is distinguished or eminent. Because hopefully her comedy career takes flight.
Oh yeah, hallelujah. She does get famous and such. Yes. Oh yeah.
Go check her out. But she's not going to get that national recognition.
And that's not what we are asking that recognition for. We're just the good works that she had done. And who knows, and that's the thing about living, limited time lives, is that maybe those foster kids end up being, they cure cancer, right? They get us to them, Martin or whatever, you know what I mean? We don't know. Yeah. But she's giving, by being a good, solid person of nutrition, love, stability, etc., showing all these parameters of goodness. And I don't mean to put too much on you, Kate. You're also hilarious.
We don't even know.
But you know what I'm saying? Giving this opportunity for these humans to make their impact. Right, as opposed to have to, you know what I mean? It's
and look at what she might be doing. She might be unlocking another person's potential that wasn't there prior to that. It was just thrown out, baby out with the bathwater by the previous parents, or whatever the circumstances might have been. Yeah. Not to blame any parents or anything, but you're subject to just the little actions that we take every day of effort and intention. Really have a giant impact moving forward. So if you get that idea and you think about it, go do it, man. Go pick up that piece of garbage.
Because enabling, just like it's not the Epic of Gilgamesh, right? It's not the squire per se, but the support person who enables greatness, right? And I guess there's squires too, but you know what I mean? Just whatever that archetype is, right? It's like those who enable the hero to be the hero.
Well, talking about hero, Scottish essayist, historian, and philosopher Thomas Carlyle said that the history of the world is but the biography of great men. He was a big proponent of the great man theory. I'm not sure if he came up with it, but the great man theory puts forth the thought that history can largely be explained by the impact of great men or heroes, right? Highly influential and unique individuals who, due to their natural attributes such as superior intellect, heroic courage, extraordinary leadership abilities, or divine inspiration, have a decisive historical effect.
Sure, but I think that diminishes the entire arc of their lives prior to that greatness.
It really does.
Right, because that's the person who taught them to read, or if they need, you know what I mean, everything from top to fucking bottom, all of these steps.
Go back to Alexander the Great, right? Who started out on third base, right?
Did he have a great wife?
Who?
Great, Alexander the Great.
He had like 7 wives.
See, that's cheating.
He picked out wives from like every place he conquered.
Yeah, that's kind of a perk.
It's a perk. I'll kill your entire family unless you be my wife.
Yeah.
Or I'll wipe out your entire village.
Yeah, the whole shebang.
The shebang.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's the trouble with rule by whim, people. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, people. So cute.
Oh man. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, would you just start to conquer like worlds of hotties or whatever? Is that what, you're just specific, like, oh, we're going back to Tahiti.
Well, for a while I would. Wouldn't you? For a while, that'd be a section of my life.
Oh man.
Behind every great man is a great woman. What about that?
Or 7.
Or 7.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
I couldn't take all that.
You didn't take out the garden.
7.
Are you going to wear
I
that?
know, it's so funny. You henpecked Alexander. Poor Alexander.
No
He's
wonder-
like, I gotta go take over some country somewhere. I gotta go. They're waiting for me. Babe, the boys are waiting.
No offense, ladies.
The boys
This is
need
waiting.
200,000 Macedonian
I'm
pikemen.
just kidding, ladies. Nag away.
Well, I don't know, just like, she would have nag if you did what she asked the first time, Charles. That's a
Meme today that is if you're sitting on the couch and the wife comes in and says, you don't have to do this now, but
Yes.
start putting your shoes on.
yeah, that means you have to do this now.
She's expecting you to
Oh.
Oh my God. I don't know, boys. Mark Twain, however, almost made my top 5 list.
For Great Americans?
Great
Yeah,
Americans,
yeah.
he wrote that moral cowardice is the commanding feature of the makeup of 999 men in 10,000. And that from the beginning of the world, no revolt against a public infamy or oppression has ever been begun but by the one daring man in 10,000, the rest timidly waiting and slowly and reluctantly joining under the influence of that man and his fellows from the other 10,000.
Yes, that's great.
So basically saying that the greatness is achieved by that one guy who's willing to stand up. And
Yeah,
call
stand in front of the
bullshit.
tank at Tiananmen Square,
Yes.
dude. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or that guy at the Gorge who just is over there on the. Have you seen that video?
Started to dance?
He started to dance, and then one guy runs over and starts dancing with him. Now there's 3, and it took like 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden, everybody was running over, and there was
dancing.
500 people just all fucking
that's
dancing
great.
and having a great time. But it takes someone to push that domino over and go for it.
And to show
That was written on his. It was a treatise on some lynchings that happened. I think early 1900s. I can't remember where, like Indiana or something. But he wrote about that, saying, lynchings have to stop. Somebody needs to stand up when it's happening.
Right.
Yes.
Be the brave. Be the great.
Stop the mob.
Stop the
You have to
mob.
break the spell of a mob. Humans can get into a mob.
Yeah,
And not
very
really,
easily.
it's a spell.
Yeah.
You know
It
what I
is,
mean?
yeah.
It is. It's interesting.
It's been studied, yeah.
Yeah.
When somebody starts doing one thing and it just seems like I can do that's a friend of mine. He must know what he's doing. You just get on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
It's awful.
And emotion, and just especially, fierce emotions and destroy reason, right?
Yeah. I love the idea of like standing up for somebody that's not in the room. Right. There have been a couple of times when I've been in a room where people have been disparaging to other people, and I've just put my foot down and gone, "Are you sure you want to say that without that person here?"
Yeah.
Jeez, I think that's great. Well,
Because it's important. Because I could just put up with it, but that person's not going to change anything unless they are put on the spot because they've been allowed to do that.
Yeah, well, nor can they say otherwise because they're not there.
Exactly. Yeah. So supporting someone that's not there is a sign of greatness.
Very
I think.
emotionally
so
mature.
do that, people.
Yes.
Stand up for that person that's not in the room.
Absolutely.
Or just pile it on. Yeah, and they poop their pants.
Yeah. There was this one time.
No, don't do that, man.
Don't do that. No, he's joking. That's sarcasm.
A lot of people are great at things we talked about earlier, but maybe not great humans.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very much so.
I mean, there's so many. And then you can find fault in just about everybody, right?
Yeah, sure.
But
Michael Jackson, for example.
I was thinking of
but
one.
some of it is just glaring, right?
Yeah.
And surprising at times.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're like, wow. I wouldn't have thought, from the part about that person that I do know, that part about that person that I didn't know is really a shock,
Yeah.
So,
and how does that then enlighten or influence your decisions
for me
in the
personally,
future?
it really can. Yeah, it really can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although you are what did you call it earlier before the show? We were talking about Thomasonian. What is it?
Jeffersonian. Democrat. Yeah.
Yeah. So, even though he did some horrible things and raped a bunch of slaves and
pretty much won over and over.
Right.
Oh man.
And so, but without his accomplishments, without his greatness,
we wouldn't be here now.
We wouldn't be having this conversation most likely. Yeah.
It's interesting how they just the whole idea that there were still many slave owners amongst those people writing out those documents.
Yes.
Right. But not all. Not all.
Not all of the forefathers?
No, by no means. And there were still plenty of people in that society that disparaged slavery, either on religious grounds, on just moral grounds, on et cetera. So it's not like everybody loved the policy of slave owning, right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
it was part of the economy.
It certainly was.
That's all it was. It was part of the economy.
Yeah. But in accepted, it's always, we accept what we accept, right? And all these things in a society have the definition that we collectively are giving them, right? Yeah. It's like, we just happen to be swimming in it, so we don't think about it. But that's what it always has been, as long as we've had collected humans, right?
Right.
Because we have these common concepts to make the basis of meanings, right? Oh,
was it Noam Chomsky that said something about give everybody a limited amount of access to things to debate, but within that arena of thought, let them have a big debate about the littlest things. I'm really screwing that up, but we have to stand up and we have to go and be that one person that says no.
Sure.
And be willing to take the bullet or willing to take the criticism or what have you. And know that there are more people that are right behind you. Yeah. They're right there.
Yeah. Try to do the right thing.
I wish I knew that quote, but Noam Chomsky, that guy.
So would you guys say that in our culture, in the Western culture, in the United States, whatever, that when people talk about greatness, they're usually talking about the arete kind of thing, like somebody's really good, like an athlete, right? Yeah. He's a great hitter. He's a great runner. He's a great Muhammad Ali.
Greatest of all time.
Right. Could have been the greatest of all time boxer.
And we don't necessarily, because the other mind is that they were born that way, right? As opposed to they achieved that.
Or that they...
Like pathos is the...
That's more like the discovery, like the like you're putting yourself out there constantly trying to figure out the latest thing.
Yeah.
So that might be like an inventor.
So I think in the modern times, we don't necessarily go, well, Michael Jordan had, better genes, so he was better at basketball or whatever. I think we think that Michael Jordan, the person, made Michael Jordan better at basketball.
He wore Levi's just like me, and I can't dunk.
Yeah.
Fuck those
but it was
genes.
his drive and his... and obviously there's some physicality because not everybody can do that.
Talent.
Yes. But I don't think that's the primary driver of that skill set.
Yeah, because what did they say? They say it's like 10,000 hours
to be a master of something.
To be a master of something.
Sure.
Like, could I spend 10,000 hours if I had that many left in my life? I mean, maybe when I was younger, because I would have been more athletic. My old ass body now, 10,000 hours. But if I spent 10,000 hours doing nothing but playing basketball, could I achieve Michael Jordan level?
No,
not now. And
but you could shoot 3-pointers all fucking day.
That's probably true.
Stuff like that, right? But you're not going to, from the top of the key, not having it.
Runs fast. Could I make it?
He didn't dunk from the top of the key, just so we're clear on that. He dunked from the foul line.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but top of the key, that's flying.
Yeah, that's
flying.
Well, he has Air Jordan.
We'll give him that, though. Yeah, he did that.
Yeah.
Or was it the shoes, man? It was the shoes that got him there.
There was that little bubble in there, that little tiny air.
Yeah.
Made me go high.
Yeah. Yeah, Larry Bird just had an elbow.
Right. Or a left elbow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Guy. Man.
But I mean, with anything, right? A great writer, a great,
Sure. And because some of it is how it's perceived by others, but because isn't that a Zen in the art of motorcycle maintenance is the idea of quality and how much of it is subjective and how much of it's just intrinsic in the thing, right? But they were kind of talking about things, I think, more than deeds in that, right? So can the deed be great in and of itself, or is it you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it the action or is it the person committing the action?
Right.
Going back to Jefferson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we do a great president, maybe not the best human.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And I mean, I don't know if you can. I don't want to defend him at all on some of those actions. Can you go back? No, because we just talked about that, right? Because there were
not everybody was that way. No, there are plenty of other examples of people not living that way.
Now, if he had stood up and been like, "I'm not going to do that," or if he took ownership of it in some way, maybe. I don't,
and I'm not convinced that he did. So I don't know. But there's plenty of other examples of like the artist being kind of and the art being amazing, right? So I know
that is the statement. It's always been this way, so it'll always be that way. Is that that's an excuse?
That is an excuse.
That's an excuse to have blinders on and to not look at your own. I think we need to look more internally at ourselves as opposed to the external things that are going on and go, wait, I need to identify. This makes me feel cringe. I feel cringy when I see something or experience something like that, or when somebody tells me something like that. Maybe that's the barometer we need to start getting back to.
And
storytelling and
internal
passing.
greatness,
Yeah.
And then and it's our social construct, just like we've been talking about, right? It's like, so if we all decide that rape is unforgivable and just banished, right?
Yep.
Then besides the weird fringe shit, right? Just ding dong, right? Then it starts to go away. Just like cannibalism went away, right? It's only very rare that such a thing happens today. You know,
it's making a comeback.
It might make America cannibal again. Because there was a time in human species when we pulled such weird shit off, right? Just like chimps do, right? It's like, man, right? But we don't, and we decided it's not okay. And human sacrifice and shit, it's like, right? That was a societal okay.
Yeah, right.
It no longer is. We don't do that. Although that might be coming back.
Well, you said earlier, I think you said earlier, there are things that get pushed away and get hidden or rewritten, right? Those that are in power get to rewrite the rules in the history books. Yeah. You know, the statements that Elon Musk have made recently, like empathy is the weakness of man or of humans.
Western
civilization.
Yeah, Western
and what did he say? What was the other thing he said earlier? About
the parasite class?
About the parasite class? Those are, and then the obvious Hitler kind of Nazi.
None of it's good.
None of that's good.
But it just doesn't belong in democracy.
Right.
That he can have. I mean, he's entitled to whatever mindset he wants to fucking have because he's an adult, right? It's like he can be his own person, but he doesn't deserve to be a policymaker.
No,
he doesn't deserve to make these decisions,
influential things,
hugely impactful decisions on our collected society.
Right.
If he wants to be a business person, that's not the same thing.
Not at all.
Right.
Yes.
And he can have these beliefs. And still conduct business if people want to conduct business with him, right? Yeah. Even though they kind of have a better insight into his mind now than they did, but he belongs nowhere near our shared responsibilities as a civilization and society.
Yeah. I would agree.
He just hasn't earned that. And obviously he's not attempting to earn it because he doesn't think he needs to earn it. He thinks he's
above all.
Yes. Yeah. He's entitled to it.
Well, and we've given him the platform too. We have not given him the platform. Media has been consolidated and is it's a big show.
There's two. It's Facebook and Twitter.
Right.
People are getting, and I guess TikTok, but that's where they're getting their information from.
Correct. And he gets the spotlight in most all of those platforms.
Yeah.
And so if you give someone that much of a limelight, they're going to have some control over the thinking of what people believe.
Yeah.
And they tend to go crazy. If they weren't already crazy, people who get that much attention put on them, they go fucking ding dong almost every time. Yeah. It's really a hard thing to handle. It is.
It's that whole theory of power corrupts. And
ultimately,
absolutely.
Oh man,
and that fame.
Who's the guy that all the like super wealthy tech Teal and Musk and these guys? There was just a philosopher author, and they really take it to heart that it is like a neo-Calvinism to where they deserve all of this, and they deserve to be the new power brokers. So they're setting themselves up with, their own little Epstein Islands and, with bodyguards and armies and all that dog shit. It's like,
it benefits
we're fools to allow such a thing. We really are. We're fools to allow it. We're fools to empower it.
Yes.
It's so silly.
Well,
it really hurts
getting back control of our media is a really important thing. Using our choice to not only buy the right foods and make the right decisions and be healthy, what we listen to and what we consume is an important thing.
Yes. Yeah.
The only encouraging thing right now is that it looks like his stocks are going down, that Tesla's sales are
and I have a way for us to completely eliminate that company.
Most in Europe.
Should you say that publicly?
Oh, yeah, because it's not nefarious.
Good.
It's a corporate handout that they get all electric companies do. It's the
subsidies.
The carbon tickets.
Yeah.
Right. So other car companies buy those carbon credits from the electric car companies.
Yes.
Right. That's the major profit center for those guys.
And that's how he continued to be able to
build. And another major profit center is them selling all the data that they collect from you driving around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So you're multiple times a commodity in that car. But if we just said, how about for 6 months, we're going to you can't do that trade, that voucher for carbon.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Won't do it.
But who controls that voucher?
I bet it's the feds.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the states could do it. States could do it. States could really put if California, Washington, and Oregon united together, made our own state bank, our own got our West Coast ports, all that shit coordinated as a 3-state co-op, right? Then we would be the fourth, 4.5 largest economy on the planet.
Yes.
And we would be able to squeeze everybody with that kind of dog shit.
Oh yeah. What is California's like?
It'll 5.
Yeah.
So it'd be 4.5.
Having the view from Portland.
How dare you?
Fucking Oregon's bringing us back.
Yeah, Oregon's like, I got pears and Tillamook.
Yeah. Which is delicious.
Which is delicious. Now, your friend of the show, Tillamook ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
And we'll advertise you all day long for like a half a gallon a week.
It's so good. I'm sweating thinking about it.
Do you remember the old days of Tillamook? Before they remodeled?
No, I've never been.
You've never been?
No, you guys were talking about that?
No, I haven't been either. I've been by there 1,000 times.
Man, when I was a little boy, I would go down there they had cheese for days. Just, when you go into Costco and there's all these things it's nothing but cheese at Tillamook. And it's like, here's the dark, the mild, here's the sharp, all that. And it was awesome. It was awesome.
8,000 calories later.
Yeah. Here's some more butter.
Wally.
I will say this because I took the kid out.
It's a worthwhile place to go.
I took the kid out to Maple Valley for her voice lessons on Tuesday, and I needed a couple things from the grocery store. And there's the QFC there in Maple Valley.
Right.
So I ran over, and they had a cheese. They didn't have the cheese counter, but they had the actual nice cheese refrigeration.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Got some manchego. Got some smoked.
I think that was my number 4, wasn't it? That was my number 4.
I haven't had manchego for maybe a year.
It's so good.
Oh, so good.
Oily and yummy and harder.
So good.
So
I know where I'm going.
I was like, oh, how much money can I spend tonight? I'll just grab
Talk about greatness. Greatness of food, greatness cheese.
Yeah, who was the first cheese guy?
I don't know. The first cheesemonger.
His name was Steve.
Like, some milk got spilled, been sitting for a minute. He's like, you know what?
Eat that. Let's try it. Smells awful.
Yeah, smells terrible. It's kind of gooey.
Well, that's great.
Then he gave it to his little brother, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Hey, Mikey.
Little Donnie.
He won't eat it. He eats everything. I was like,
Look at Mikey.
Oh my God. Yeah. Before that, pizzas weren't very good.
No.
Flatbread. Yeah.
Just sliding right off. Oh my God. So, boys, is there anything else in greatness that you want to? What does it mean to you, or anything else that?
Well,
we didn't cover.
Yeah. Well, no. Just from my point of view, I think there are parts of me that are great and that are continuing to evolve, which makes it great. The continual evolution and attempt to better oneself,
yes,
I think is greatness. Those who give up and say they can't, they don't strive for greatness. And so that's not so great. And so I do believe that I'm great at a couple of things. I'm great at well, I can't talk about that one, but as far as greatness is concerned, I do stick up for the little man, the little guy. I'm righteous almost to a fault, and I think that's great, but also a little dangerous, right? I'll throw myself into the front of a moving truck to save a baby. Type of a thing.
That's not bad.
No, but I mean, I'm not the
Unless
best.
that baby's
sprinter.
an asshole, yeah.
Yeah, we won't know until we
Grows up to
save
be a
them.
mass murderer.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, so I think ego is a big part of what greatness is. I think if we throw things in a tier, we love it though as humans, right? We love first, second, third, fourth, fifth. We love the top tens. We love all those things because it gives us reference as to what we're thinking about, as to what is great. Yeah. So, I think we all we continue to strive for betterment of ourselves. And what that means to everybody is different. Yeah. It's, being a better serial killer is not a great thing.
For the rest of us.
Right.
But
he was a great serial killer. Yeah. Which one? We could have a top 10, top 5 serial killers.
Based on...
right.
Yeah.
Meshes, casualty count.
Yeah. Style. Right? It's just all perspective.
Yeah, geez. Well, that's great. I think, if you quit striving to achieve some kind of internal greatness, then, you're fairly much dead. Not dead, but you're sort of lifeless, right?
But that does take that quashing of ego enough to allow curiosity.
Yeah.
Because without squishing it a little bit, because we'll trick ourselves into thinking we already know it. Oh, I know. When we might not. So being able to be open to that curiosity.
Oh, and even if we do know and we do think we know, it's way better to know what somebody else knows than to, let them know what you know. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what you know, and I don't know what you know. That's why the three of us are sitting here talking.
Making meaning. Yeah.
Being curious, adding on to the pile of senseless nonsense information I have in my head, so I can be a part of this community, right? And a better part of this community. So as I surround myself with great people like yourselves, I get to have an additional layer of information and influence on me. Whereas if I just think I'm great, then I become Alexander the Great, right? Then my ego is so big that I take over. Am I on the wrong track here? I think I'm on the right track.
7 wives and...
Yeah, I'm not bashing that. I think
30,000.
Whatever is good for you.
Don't throw the baby with the bathwater.
But if I don't listen, if I don't actively listen to you guys, I end up not adding to, how did I learn what I learned to begin with? Right? I didn't learn it just out of the ether. I learned it by observing, being curious, having wonder and awe. And I think we need to get back to that. We need to get back to that wonder of like what this other person knows. What's another way to look at that? Because we're so separated. We're I know this for sure. You know that for sure. Now we're just like going to walk our separate ways and never talk to one another again. I think that's unhealthy. It's terrible.
And it's limiting.
It's limiting.
Right? It's not allowing for these things to manifest, right? Even unpredictable things or unknowable things have to be allowed to happen to get something from them, right?
Conversations need to be had. Time spent with one another in these situations, in a podcast or in a coffee shop or around family at dinner. You know, those things are super important, but we're getting so isolated.
We're getting isolated. We're getting spoon-fed.
Yeah.
What
reaffirmations.
Yes.
Yeah, correctly or otherwise. Yeah.
Reinforcing that, right?
That's a trip.
It's on purpose, man. It's just on purpose.
But I think nobody's denying that, right?
Well,
it's like they admit that they're, meant to give you a dopamine, right? It's like, it's not doom scrolling, it's dopamine scrolling, right? It's like,
it is.
But then again, I do read a lot of news magazines and still go, it's like 5,000 word essays of, because they're not wrong, and that's the trouble.
What does what does that represent?
It just means all of it.
What does that represent to Mike? You've got the best ahs of all.
It's the greatest.
You're the greatest of all time.
Jeez.
How about you, Charles? Do you have any other thoughts on greatness? Like,
I want to figure out a way to motivate not only myself, but motivate others to figure out that potential that they have and try to. It's like my daughter constantly is coming up with ideas. Now she wants to go to Juilliard.
Wow.
Mostly because I think because one of her best friends wants to go to NYU, and she's like, oh, it's in New York too, and I can go to it's a singing school. And I'm like, okay, yeah, great. Just so you know, and not trying to squash the dream at all, but it's like this is maybe one of the hardest places to get into. Premier. Yeah. And I hate to say that, but it's like you almost need to have conditioned yourself from like preschool to be ready for trying to get into this. It seems
like that, doesn't it?
It kind of feels like that, right?
It feels like that.
Like you need to either go to the Bush School in Seattle or Seattle Academy of Arts and Sciences. You got to
at least know somebody.
You got to do these things. And I said, you can do this if you want to.
Or at least be in the ballpark.
Yes.
Right? Because then there's it's just chance.
Yes.
Right.
But it's work.
Yeah.
And you got to put in. You got to put in the time. And I'll help you everywhere I can, but there's a lot of things you need to figure out. Like you need to do some research. You need to look at people that have gone through it and see what they did to get in.
Yeah,
right.
What they got
benchmarks? What are the benchmarks to be able to get in? Yeah.
And I said I went online and I found like their admissions handbook, and it talked about the vocal program. And I said, okay, this is what, and I don't want to go on a big tangent, but it's like, almost felt like auditioning for The Voice. You have to you have to turn in a resume and a video of what, here I am.
Right.
And then you get called out to one of like 3 cities. I think it's San Francisco, Chicago,
where there's like
and New York.
10,000 kids.
Where there's like a shit ton of other kids, and you audition for an entire weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you pass that audition, then you go to New York to go through another audition.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not saying it's impossible, but these kids are like, they already have some idea of musical theory, and they've got, resumes that show
your daughter,
theater and all this stuff.
Your daughter already said it. She goes, she wants to go to New York.
Yes.
Because her friends there.
Because her friends there.
That's not a good reason to go to Juilliard.
What's the school from Fame? Can she go there?
Yes.
Fame.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's in New York too.
Let's see.
But then I typed in top 10 schools.
Plus, her friend might not get into NYU.
Right.
It's not like you can just go, you know what? Yeah.
Juilliard. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Now she's there by herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the other part for me is you're fucking in New York, which is great and a great life experience, but that's too fucking far away. Yes. But I looked up like top 10 schools for vocal degrees, like Bachelor of Arts or Fine Art, BFAs and stuff like that. And of course, Juilliard was on there. There's Berkeley School, I think, is in Boston. Then there was University of Michigan.
Berkeley's in California.
Berkeley, the school.
Oh, that's in Boston.
It's Berkeleo.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
But it's a musical. And so all these places are like fucking far away, like Michigan, Indiana.
There's not one in North Renton. Juilliard at West.
So they've got a great program at Renton Technical School. Yeah.
University of Washington has a vocal thing, and I'm looking at it, and I'm kind of going through, and I'm like, all right, I mean, this is achievable here, right? If you can get into that program. Yeah. But then there's also like requirements. They want you to take 2 languages to be a part of the program. So she's doing Spanish right now in high school, and I'm trying to convince her, do all 3 years or 4 years of Spanish in high school. You don't have to do any language requirements in college to get your degree. Yeah. But this program is saying they want 2. So like Italian or French or something different.
Oh, not 2 years, but 2 different languages.
2 different languages.
Ruski.
Yeah, it's such a
that's one way to weed out the weak.
Well, that's how the schools make their money. They're like, hey, come take a Spanish course.
But even that's a no joke program to get in stuff because they want the resume, they want the 2 recommendation letters and all that stuff. So
and Cornish just got swallowed up by Seattle U.
Did it really? Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Not swallowed up. I guess merged. I don't want to make it sound bad.
Well, both of those are private colleges, right? They're both private colleges.
Yeah. But one, Seattle U, is specifically not Jesuit. Where is it Jesuit?
It's Jesuit.
Yeah,
is it Jesuit?
Yeah. I just get the Jesuit and the other guys mixed up.
The other guys.
The Amish.
No.
Amish milk.
Is that close?
Amish milk.
But and I looked at her and said, "Why don't you just join a rock band?" Right.
Yeah, that's the fast track, dude.
Fast track.
Yeah. Advanced monkey business.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other. UW wants you to take a piano. They want you to have like basic piano knowledge too. Wow. Even you're doing vocal, but I think it maybe plays into the music
and composing for sure. No, I haven't watched Glee. It's always the dude at the piano, and then everybody gathers around. To classic.
Yeah.
Zoo zoo.
So I don't know. I want to encourage. I want her to achieve her greatness. Her everything. And she's on her way, but I don't know how to. I haven't gone through that stuff.
Well, I think the process will weed her out. Yeah. I encourage her to go do it.
Yes.
Right? Just get started.
Yeah.
Start now and see where the limitations are. Find out what her limitations are if they even do exist.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no reason she could.
No, there's no reason.
But there's a lot of steps and obstacles.
Yep.
Right.
And you're just being reasonable. You're just being
yes.
Because I think you're not wrong.
Not skeptical, but realistic.
Yeah, you're not wrong by thinking you had to get started earlier than this.
Yeah.
What grade is she in?
She's 9th grade now.
9th grade.
So
well, that's fairly good.
She's had theater classes and stuff, but she's never been in a professional production of any sort.
It's all right.
Stuff like that. So.
There's no time like now to start.
Know. Sure. I even encouraged her to join the high school drama club. I can't do that. That's too bad. Everybody makes fun of you. I'm like,
which school is it?
Lindbergh.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they've got some good programs in Cambridge, Lindbergh.
But after school stuff or off campus stuff, I get that too, though. Because the theater kids get unnecessarily.
But that's a great environment for kids.
Yeah,
man.
It sure can be.
That's a crew.
Yeah.
Trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I needed to have her talk to Cassandra or somebody.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think she needs to be able to do that before she goes to Juilliard.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And but what about getting her a inexpensive keyboard that sounds like a piano?
I'm thinking about it now. Yeah.
Because those are just headphones. Yes. You know what I mean? And that way she could compose.
Sure. Just play some basic tunes.
Sure. I listened to an interview with Hans Zimmer, who just won kind of the Nobel for music or whatever.
Oh, did he?
He's been around for 2,000 years, this guy.
At least.
But he did, he said he practices, like to this day, he still practices every single day. It's like, and he's very well established.
Yes.
But it's like, but for him, it's the composing. He's not an expert piano player by any means, but he composes with the piano.
Yeah.
So that's how the lyrics, the tone, the
emotion,
the meter, all of that that's synergy. Yeah.
I saw a picture of what his layout was for composing Chariots of Fire, and it was a top of, like looking at Neil Peart's drum kit, right? You know, it's a 360-degree kind of a thing, tight, close in. There's keyboards all the way around it. It's a really cool view, computers, all that sort of thing. And
did he do Chariot? I thought that was a.
It was Vangelis.
Vangelis, yeah.
Who did you say?
Hans Zimmer, who's done every movie ever.
Yeah. Never mind. Same thing, but
same.
Vangelis is kind of a visionary, trippy guy, but he's cool as fuck.
Whatever, when you say Hans Zimmer,
Hans Zimmer. Isn't that the bad guy from Die Hard? And also Herbie Hancock had a birthday. Speaking of great piano keyboardist.
Way to go, Herbie.
I think he's 84. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Miles Davis. That guy has done it. He has.
Did he do that? Did he do the
Rocket? Oh yeah. We kind of. Oh yeah. And he, I think he toured for 5.
Herbie
That's
Hancock
Rocket. Yeah. No, that's.
You're doing Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, didn't he do Beverly Hills Cop?
I don't know.
That's Rocket.
More Mozart.
Who did Beverly Hills Cop?
Brahms.
Brahms. I don't.
It was Brahms.
Yeah, who died? That's
I don't know who that is.
I thought it was
I don't know. We're about to
Herbie
find out.
Hancock.
And his
It
Columbia
feels like
has
something he might do.
Columbia has plenty of mountains. So I correct my previous statement. Yes, there are plenty
of mountains. The
mountains
Andes
in Columbia.
Mountains are,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
gotcha.
for the-
I don't know if it's the Andes brand mountains.
Brand?
Well, you know what I mean. Just like the Rocky brand mountains or not, but you know.
Oh, like the Canadian Rockies versus the Colorado Rockies?
Yeah.
I see. I gotcha.
Geez, but we're
Depends on how good your beer is.
You're right. It's not a Molson, but it is a Coors
Cheers. Oh.
Light.
Man, I see people drink
Silver
Coors Light all the time. I'm like, why would you do that? There's so many really good
Programming.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like
Spend the dollar. It's worth it.
Ugh.
Yeah, programming.
Yeah.
Good tangent.
Yeah, life's too short for
was
cheap
fun.
beer. Oh my God, boys! Sharon is caring. Anything new going on this week? I know Mike had some sad news this week.
Yeah,
and
no,
don't have to get into it. But anything else?
Yep. I don't know. That's my week there. But I would just like to make a shout out to the Clymer family. Just the highest quality human beings. Yeah. I'm privileged to know them. And I'm sorry that one of us is missing now.
Yep.
But thanks for being around. And like we were talking about earlier, the momentum of a person's life and how it, encourages and pushes other people's lives. Hopefully encourages, right? But it certainly can help to drive all these other people. And I can see the people that were in his direct life for the last 17 years, and what a great mobilizer, what a guy. Well, I just don't really have words. I'm really going to miss him.
Gravitational force that kind of held
Yeah,
everybody
just
together.
very solid, right? And could count on him for everything. But also just really wanted to see people succeed, see his loved ones succeed. It was obvious.
He had an attractive, positive personality. His positiveness was, you could feel it from him. Every time I saw him at the Whistle Stop, taking care of him and Teresa for lunch or whatever, breakfast. Exactly what you're saying, just a rock of goodness.
Yeah.
I truly am going to miss him.
Yeah.
Here's to Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen.
And climbers are a pretty established Renton.
No, he was a fourth generation Rentonian, and
Pioneer family.
Yeah.
Was it his dad or grandfather that was?
His dad, Mary's grandfather. Yeah, his dad, Earl, because he was a Stephen Earl Clymer. So Earl Clymer was mayor here, and
what was it?
just all
You
around.
said earlier before we got started that you met Earl. I never met him.
No, because he was a local dude. No, I bumped into him, and that was back in my long-haired skater days.
Okay,
but I remember distinctly one time. Where the Renton library, the library built over a river, the only one in the United States, I think.
I think it's one of two.
Yeah. But I remember I was on the walkway there, skateboard in hand, just going somewhere, and he was there, and we both stopped and looked over and just had gone to a great discussion about rivers and the Cedar River and the history of the Cedar River and what rivers do and how important they are. And
oh, great.
This is a life,
Could you,
giving. It was great.
Could you, not knowing that you were going to be a part of the Climber family in the future, you hadn't even met Mary probably yet.
No, Mary was a kid.
Yeah, she was a kid then. Can you now look back on that moment and see similarities between Stephen and his dad?
Yeah, although, Stephen and most of the climbers look like Earl's wife.
Oh, okay.
The Alexander side of the family. But you can certainly see similarities in behavior and speech.
Okay.
Right? And I think there's still, Earl was in the 80s, right? So it's like, I'm sure there's some recordings of him, if not video stuff, right?
I don't know.
Because he did a lot of official stuff. He was the mayor, but...
his name's on a lot of, monuments and stuff.
But a very gentle, a gentle person.
Yeah,
so
it would make sense.
Yeah,
definitely.
What era was Earl mayor?
I think mid-'80s, right?
Mid-'80s,
so right after Barbara
what?
Shinpo. Barbara Shinpo did 3 terms, I think. Maybe she was 2, and Dennis Law was 3.
Dennis Law was 3.
Okay, yeah. But Barbara was around, I think, the late 70s into early 80s, and then Earl was, I'd guess, 83 or 4, right?
Who came right after that? Was it Jesse Tanner?
Jesse Tanner, yeah.
Okay, because I was here when Jesse Tanner... I got here in 95, so I'm assuming maybe the election was 94.
And then Kathy Coker-Wheeler, yeah.
Then Kathy Coker-Wheeler, then Dennis, and now Armando. Got it? Yeah.
Yeah, just a good guy.
Cool.
So, and...
So good, solid, salt of the earth family.
Yeah. Nice. Just quality people, so...
Well,
thank you for
I would
all
agree.
and for everything. Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, sorry I didn't get a chance to meet him. That I know of.
Oh, yeah.
I might have met him somewhere along the way.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Well, his impact is definitely probably felt throughout the
that's the neat thing about it. Because
we
you
all
do see
agree.
it, in kids and grandkids and stuff like that. We all do it. I wonder what your grandbaby's going to look like. I saw Bay yesterday.
Oh, did you? Out walking his dog.
Out walking his dog.
Yeah. And we're about 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away.
Man.
Something like that.
Is this your second?
First grandchild.
First. Oh, okay. First.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when we did the 3D ultrasound, the guy was like, he's going to be a sort of, big and beefy guy, you know, tall. I'm like,
Yeah. That's right.
I'm looking at everybody else and I'm going, that sounds like somebody. I don't know who. So it can only hope. I'm hoping for blonde hair and blue eyes, but we'll see.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
They're both sort of dark complected. The parents are. She's originally from Venezuela, and Bay's mom is Romanian. Kind of has that Roma.
You can just like the eyebrows.
Look at the eyebrows.
Yeah.
The thick brown eyebrows and stuff like that.
So no blonde, blue eye.
So probably not.
No.
He can do whatever he wants to be.
Yeah.
You didn't go in with a CRISPR. Turn him into...
Right.
It's going to be a cross between Jason Statham and Jet Li.
Yeah. Can you get 10,000 hours in, get blue eyes?
Yeah, prior to even being born.
Before being born.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeff? What's been happening this week, dude?
I found that I've been procrastinating
Okay.
quite a bit, and I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of procrastinating. I've got a lot of things to do, and there's so many things to do. And of course, my health news last week was not helpful with that, it was last week or week before that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like looking at the value of life. Like, what is the value of every moment? Stephen passing away, just looking at what's important. I could get on a lot of different avenues of doing, but what's the right one, right? People say live every day like it was your last, and do what you love and you won't work a day in your life type of an idea. Yeah. So I really enjoy this. I really enjoy the people side of things. I like meeting new people. I like community. But I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So I've been really contemplating that, not being hard on myself or anything, but just being self-aware of those things. I haven't really gone or done much of anything outside of just staying around town and playing a lot of pinball.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm getting good at pinball, which is great.
Cool.
That's great.
We've got. Did you know that we have like 2 of the greatest pinball players in the world right here in Renton?
Did not know that.
Yeah, Ashley Weaver.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great.
I didn't know she was a great player, but she's a super involved compatriot. Oh, geez, that's great.
Big time, man. She goes to like nationals or regionals or something like that in Chicago or someplace back east on the 27th. So I'm looking forward to rooting her on for that.
That's cool.
We're planning on doing a live stream pinball tournament in here. They're going to bring 2 or 3 pinball machines into the studio.
Oh, that's cool.
And have a little, live.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, live thing that we're going to do in here, which will be kind of fun. And then there's a guy named Lonnie. I'm not sure Lonnie's last name, but he's like number 1 or 2 in the world as well.
Wow.
He'll sit and play a pinball machine over at 8-Bit, which is just down the street from here on 3rd Avenue. If you guys are interested in a great arcade, it's called 8-Bit Arcade on 3rd and Renton. Anyway, Lonnie, I'll be playing and I'll put in like $3 worth of quarters and then walk away, go get myself a pizza, because they sell pizza there. Eat the pizza, come back, play 3 more games, and he's still on the first ball.
Oh my God. I don't know how it's possible. It's really hard to me.
There's ways for that ball to go down those little slots.
Yeah, and in certain orders. You know what I mean? All these you can make. It's
there's
just really
modes and
it's cool, man.
And there's terminology. Go up the ramps, go up the alleys, go hit the drop downs, all that stuff.
And I realize there's a skill in sort of the reflexes and the hand-eye coordination and stuff like that. But it's also a game of chance, I feel like.
Isn't it? Because, man, I swear to God, it just goes, what?
Well,
right down the middle.
These guys that know the games, these people that know the games, understand they got to go up that ramp, trap it on its way back down around, hit that drop down, go back up that alley, and then go back up that ramp again.
So they're able to play it more like a strategic video game, even if it's like, Defender or something, right?
Yes.
Where they can kind of, that if you do certain maneuvers in certain instances.
Yeah, it unlocks certain things.
So that's the 10,000 hours of playing.
It's the 10,000. I ask Ashley that the other day. I go, how many hours? Do you have 10,000 hours in on this? She goes, oh, yeah. And I looked at her tournament scores, like on Match Play, whatever it is that you can put all your information in as you play. And she's got thousands and thousands of hours and several thousand tournaments that she's been in. And I couldn't believe how much they play. They play all the time. And people have these pinball machines at home. There's some of the people that play over there have like 6 and 7 pinball machines in their home.
Wow. Well, if you're going to be competitive, right? If I was a competitive golfer, which obviously I'm not, I'd have some kind of simulator or something to practice, right?
Yeah. We've got a pinball machine out at the Bonnie Lake House, and it's not a paddle machine. It's basically you shoot the ball, and where it goes is what you get.
I think that's called pachinko.
It kind of is like a
pachinko. But it's on a board, though.
It's a large machine, a wood frame machine.
Oh, so it's like one of the original kind of ideas.
You launch the ball, and I don't know if there's a skill to how hard you launch the ball, how soft you launch it.
I think you learned that in like 7th grade or 8th grade. Yeah. I'm thinking of something dirty, but sorry.
We should get one of them or both of them on.
It was
show.
Part of the conversation.
Nice.
Maybe during that evening, and do it on a Thursday, the podcast, and then leave the machines in here, and then the next day do the live stream.
Oh, sure.
Are there particular machines that you're thinking about bringing in?
Well,
like the KISS pinball.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's Mandalorian. Is one that I believe Ashley has at her house.
Wow.
And I think we have enough access to people that have machines. We can pick pretty much anything.
Yeah.
And I think one of the pinball distributors that handles all the pinball locations around. Like there's some people that own their own pinball machines, and then there's or operators that own their own pinball machines. And service their own pinball machines. And then there's a couple of operators that go around and provide pinball machines for a portion of the quarters. And then they provide the service to keep them all up. Yeah, exactly. You have the space. I'll put the pinball machines in. That's right.
That's a great idea.
So there's access to all kinds of that. But yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah. Ashley's way into that.
Wonderful idea.
Bride of Pinbot. I loved it.
I've gotten a little addicted to it. I'm a big fan right now.
Nice.
I enjoy a little bit of pinball.
Nice. And I like the fact that it's it's different than a video game, right? Because it's electronic,
Right.
bumpers and stuff that's happening.
There's
Just
a
like
physical
a video
thing.
game. There's a more
Yes.
physical thing that's happening.
Exactly.
With this
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's still
more
video
tactile.
game-ish, but it's more tactile and three-dimensional.
Yes.
Very much so three-dimensional. So there's a hand-eye coordination that's a little different than let's say, because I find when
With
I'm
a
playing,
joystick or something.
interestingly, being an athlete, baseball was kind of one of my better sports. And when you go to hit a baseball that's coming at you at 60, 70 miles an hour or whatever, there's a transition of information that goes from your brain to the mechanism that unleashes the power to get to the bat, to the ball. Well, I find that I'll do the same thing. I'll treat some of those flippers as a baseball bat, and I'll kind of my body will kind of do the same motion, and then I'll be late on a flipper strike to hit the ball. And it'll just, go down the middle or whatever will happen. But there's a different set of hand-eye coordination than just a stick or a couple of buttons that you're moving around on a video game.
Interesting.
Yeah. You're translating information all the way from your brain all the way through to the button, which has different sensitivities, and then timing that ball to get to where it's at. It's interesting. It's fun.
That's my going on.
Yeah. So join us at 8-Bit on 3rd and Main for some fun. And every Tuesday there's a tournament.
Machines over there.
They got 20, I think.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I think they got 20.
They've been
25.
selling. Are they 10 years yet? Pretty close.
I think they're 15.
No.
I think 8-Bit's, 15.
Wow. That's great.
How long were they there before Liberty?
No, we were there before.
You were
Liberty
there.
was before 8-Bit.
When did you start?
Oh, fuck.
I don't know either. Before this. Before now.
Yes, before today.
Before today.
Yeah, but they're also 907, and they're good folk.
Correct.
Yeah, they're
the food's great. They're a solid place to come in downtown Renton. Yeah. And the local also has some pinball machines over at their space. And pool tables and darts and that sort of thing. Shuffleboard. Yeah, good group of people.
Man. Drinks.
They've got all kinds of beer and beverages.
Yeah.
Great burgers, great mac and cheese.
Yeah, my dad spent a good portion of my inheritance eating their hamburgers.
I think I've seen them there a couple of times.
Nice. Well, right on, guys. Well, to end this show on some positive things, Winston Churchill, talking about greatness, said the price of greatness is responsibility. I think Uncle Ben also said something similar, right?
Yeah, with great power.
Great
responsibility.
Yes.
And then that really upbeat Leo Tolstoy wrote, there is no greatness where there is not simplicity, goodness, and truth.
Oh, that's nice.
So basically, to achieve greatness, you have to have this
balance,
or this baseline, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And then sort of a long quote here from Ralph Emerson. It is so bad then to be misunderstood. Pythagoras was misunderstood. Socrates and Jesus and Luther and Copernicus and Galileo and Newton and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So,
and the greats have been misunderstood. So get out there and get misunderstood.
Get misunderstood. Well, thank you guys. This was a fun discussion on greatness. Thank you folks for being here.
Yes.
Don't forget, we're going to do a bonus round next. It's our top 5 greatest Americans.
Yes.
According to us, that you'll find that in our bonus round, either on Patreon or go to r-townpodcast.com and join the members only section. It's the only couple places you can get it.
Appreciate it.
And we'd appreciate it. So
other like than and that, subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. Comment and share. Tell your friends. Tell your family.
Mail us snacks.
Yes. Put your cats in front of the TV and turn this on for them when you leave for work. That would be
they love it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Take over the universe.
Is that Mike? They're like, is that Mike on there?
He likes cats.
He likes cats.
And we love you guys. And if you're not going to join us, we'll see you next week. Otherwise, we'll see you in the bonus round.
Bye.
Bye.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you think this episode is worth $1 or $5, the boys would love to have it. Please go to ourtownpod.store for merch or to donate now. For less than a cup of coffee, you can also join the website in the member-only area for exclusive bonus content, blogs, and more. It's just $3 a month or $30 a year. Thank you for listening to this production of Our Town Podcast Extraordinaire.